So, welcome. Sorry, Charlie, Charlie, Charlie. That just was not karate. It's man over chatter. What's the matter? Well, I got the blues. Do 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 do. Nothing normally gets me down. I got the blues now, baby. Gonna turn around this frown. By the way, just for clarity, that was a harmonica at the end. Right? It's a work in progress, right? But that was the blues version of the podcast
well
tune.
done.
Whether I don't know if you recognise that or not. So welcome to Mind Over Chatter, because that's about pun. What's the matter? Because we curse. So we have a very, very bluesy supervisor special today. So we have some usual guests that we've had before. We got Mr. Tom Meaney in the house.
Hello.
We got Jack's back. And we have some new guests, which are, I like to use the term clinical supervisors because it tries to elevate your importance, right? So we've got two supervisors in the house. Now, we did have another supervisor that was going to come, but unfortunately she's not well today. Not seriously unwell, just like, a bit of a cold and a bit of like a stomach bug. So, which is why I've brought this is in homage, right? Which is a supervisor, right? Which I'm going to put the in honor of Rebecca Cadlington, Cadders, as I know her just because like she's not here, and also Naomi is struggling to make it today, so I might as well have another supervisor to like represent Naomi. So we just take a moment for comrades which couldn't make it today. Appreciate it, yeah. So and then within that, I'd just like to play a little bit of trumpet. So let's just take a 30 seconds. Right. Thank you. So we can now get on with the episode. So supervisors, introduce yourselves in more details. So one of the things I want to do, in fact, I'm changing my mind. It's gone mad. I'm changing my mind because I forgot that Mr. Tom Meaney in the house is only here for one episode. So we're very sad about that. Do you want me to get the trumpet out again?
No, you're all right.
All right, okay then. So before we start talking to supervisors, what you'll find is I'm going to turn this way to look at you, Jack. Is that all right?
Yes.
I just wanted to do a couple of things, and one was remember your butt plug from the last episode.
My book plug.
Yeah, right. I wanted to plug this kind of like skills hub thing that you're doing, which we talked about yesterday, which is online. I believe it's on the 12th of April. So I just want to give you some space to talk about that, and then within the podcast details, I'll put a link to it. So what going on with that, Tom?
Oh, thanks, Nigel. I really appreciate the plug on that. So on the 12th, I'm starting off initially doing it quarterly, so every 3 months.
And what is it that you're doing?
Basically, it's called the Skills Forum.
Okay.
So basically, it's an opportunity for anyone, trainee counsellor, qualified counsellor, supervisors as well, to come along, and it's all online. Talk about skills, talk about any questions that you might have. Lots of students bring lots of questions, I'd imagine. If there's enough people attend, there's the opportunity for breakout rooms, do a little bit of practicing. Maybe some demonstrations, even if people are willing to do that in sort of goldfish bowl setting. So really, for me, the parameters are wide open, and we can discuss anything so long as it's kind of skills, relational, related in terms of the work that we do.
Very flexible, depending on what the particular people who attend their needs might be.
Absolutely, and that's how it will start. Who wants? What do you want from this? So there's no real set agenda other than you turn up and let's see what you want.
So all things skills. all things skills.
Skills, relational, particularly around how we relate to each other within that counselling environment.
Right. Okay. And am I correct then in saying this is based on, or very similar to a thing called Skills Hub, which you used to run?
Yeah. I used to run that for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really good, really successful. Lots of students came, and they all got different things from it. It was really, really good. But just because of timetabling and space, I wasn't able to do it this year. But maybe in the future.
Okay, so you're running it to the wider community.
Yeah.
Now, quick question for the students. I'm going to turn like this to speak to Jack, right? Or Emma, who's in the audience. Emma? Hey. Did either of you attend Skills Hub? Because I believe did it run last year?
It did run last year.
Yeah, did either of you ever attend Skills Hub?
I wasn't able to, I was abroad.
All right, well, that's... Shame. Jack?
I went quite a lot.
Okay,
it was useful as well if you didn't even have ideas, just see what other people had, and then you might have learned from that, so you don't have to have ideas going. Just see what came up, and then I learned quite a lot that way. Because when you're new, sometimes you don't know what you don't know, if that makes sense. So it was interesting learning from people who are more experienced in their questions. Right. So it was good.
Okay, so
Jack always had a lot to bring as well. I think some of the third years were often surprised by maybe the caliber of our first years. At that point. The content and the questions it would bring, really insightful stuff.
Well, Jack's very, very philosophical, isn't he? You always have you like to look at things from a different perspective, which is good. Yeah. So what was the main thing you got from it? Was it the fact you were mingling with different years, or
I think it was just that whole when you're first starting off, you don't know what you need to know, and it was interesting to see people who'd been taught things I hadn't been taught yet, and what was still coming up for them. So it felt like you could learn things you might not get taught just from their questions, if that makes sense. Kind of like reading frequently asked questions sort of thing, and then seeing that.
Okay, almost like a snapshot of the future.
Exactly, and even if some of it didn't make sense at the time, like when you learn what they then knew, it kind of helps you with that added bit of information. So, it was good.
Okay, and I mean, I'm not going to put words into your mouth, but would you say you're missing it this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, 12th of April, Jack. Get yourself signed up. It's on Eventbrite. Well, Nigel's going to put links out, which is great.
I will put the links out. I'm going to put this supervisor in homage to the loss of Skills Hub within the university setting, but also I'm going to pile on to the top of that one to signify that it's going to a wider community.
So it's my favourite colour as well, green. So it feels really,
there you go.
Really very special.
Hence why you support Morecambe.
Well, I'm stumped by that. Morecambe playing red. Green's my favourite colour.
All right.
That's why.
They was dumb. They play on a green pitch, I feel.
Well, you've not been to Morecambe Stadium, have you?
Tenuous links.
Up the shrimps. Up the shrimps, camera. Where are you? Up the shrimps.
Up them. Right.
And also up the Villa as well, because I'm an Aston Villa fan as well. Don't forget that. I'm Aston Villa, up the Villa.
I'm very, very tempted to do a Brummy impression, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
We're all glad of
thank
that.
you. Everybody, the world is glad of that. So because I was going to do this in the second episode, but because you're only here for this one, I'm just going to read out some feedback we've had so far about the previous episodes.
Up the Villa.
The Villa is the. In fact, this thing says stop saying up the Villa because So I'm going to read this in kind of like the style of like a shit sandwich, right? So a couple of good things, and then maybe a bad thing in the middle, right? So this is genuine feedback, right? Thank you. I loved listening, right? I've been a client numerous times, so it's so interesting to hear from the other side of the table, right? I'm amazed, and this is for you guys, right, at the students' abilities to self-assess, all right, and remediate their failures. Failure, right? And still give themselves credit for their success, right? It took me over 60 years to do that. They're very fortunate. So I think you as students
That's great.
need to.
You're going to name drop?
No, it's anonymous feedback, but that was genuine. So this person was talking about you, Emma, and you, Jack. So just kind of So
I'm going to chime in now because I was watching, listening to the podcast at home a couple of weeks ago, My partner was sat on the sofa next to me.
Yeah.
I had it playing loud. I'm not ashamed, right?
Well,
so
yeah, I hope you had it cranked up. Yeah.
yeah, well
Yeah.
cranked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just said to me, she said, "Those students are fantastic."
Yeah.
She said they are so insightful and reflective. You know, and she said you must be very proud. And
Yeah.
I am very proud. Actually,
And I am with you that, Tom. Yeah, I am because you know, really really good set of cohort. These second years that are going to be going out and seeing clients really soon. So we're very proud of you. So come on, round of applause for yourselves, right? So, boom, right? I don't know what's going on, right? So so this is the shit in the shit sandwich.
Oh no.
It's all right. It's all about me.
Uh-huh.
Nigel, please take this more serious. You know, don't call the students crazy kids.
Yeah, that was from me. Sorry.
So and this is a serious topic, so you should be taking it more seriously. So that's kind of more about me than anything else, right? I'll take it on board. You know, it's like, you know,
maybe you should go and see one of your supervisors.
yeah, I might do. I might take it to supervision, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a work in progress. You know. So you know, I'll take it on board. Think about it. You know. So,
I like the fact that it's quite fun. And, you know,
well, I like to go from surreal to real as much as possible and back again. So you know, so but yeah, I mean, it's what I like to call FFF, food for thought, right? So you know, take it on, right? And then this is the final bit of feedback, and this is also genuine, right? Great podcast, keep going, right? I've fallen in love with Tom, right? Ask him if he'll come round and read me a bedtime story.
From Nigel.
And it says, great voice. There you go.
Shrooms.
So that's also some genuine feedback that we've had. So, and I remember when you first started, Tom, there was always these rumours about the sexy, husky voice, and it's true. I mean, listen to Emma. She's like, yeah. Oh yes. So there's a little bit of feedback.
Casting for Batman.
I was thinking more Barry White, but yeah. But yeah, you could be the next Batman. So Warner Brothers, next Batman.
Next Batman.
Yeah. So
that's the next Batman film. Next Batman.
That's what it's actually going to be called. Next Batman. So.
Lancashire version. Next Batman.
Yeah. Right. I've been to sleep. Next Batman. Anyway, right. I'll shut up because we've only got 12 minutes left, right? And we haven't really achieved anything, have we, so far? So, supervisors. Right. So, in this first part, I was just wanting to kind of get your, I'm going to say life stories, but we're not going to get that in 12 minutes, are we? But this idea of supervisors, and for the Visteners, supervisors are trained therapists first, and then they move into supervision to help other trainees to grow and develop and learn. And for most people that are qualified, they have to have supervision once a month for an hour and a half, but trainees have to have it every 2 weeks at least. And I won't bore you with the ratio of 8 to 1 hours, right? That's something that you're not really interested in, right? But anyway, so what drew you to, first of all, wanting to be a therapist, and then secondly, towards moving into supervision? And like I say, we've got 11 minutes.
11
and
minutes.
I apologise because of all that nonsense that I just did at the beginning.
So yes, I am Emma.
Hello, Emma.
Thank you very much. I'm a psychotherapist and a supervisor. And when did I qualify as a supervisor? I think I qualified as a therapist in 2009. That's when I finished my placement hours. And then I did my postgrad diploma in 2011. And what drew me into counselling in the first place was, I think, just generally always being the person that somebody comes to. You know, in a friendship group, it was always the one that people came to for advice or support. Probably naturally empathic, so would take the time to listen. Quite possibly didn't have that experience myself, and so hated the thought of somebody not having someone to go to. And so I think that kind of, you know, life events, etc., accumulated in me searching for, you know, what could I actually do with these skills? What could I actually do to help people? I had therapy myself when I was at UCLan. and found it incredibly beneficial. And I think that made me think, oh, maybe I could do this. So came here to do a degree, we were talking about this before, weren't we, in fashion promotion and business, as you do, and then decided I won't do that anymore. I'm going to be a counsellor. So then came back to uni and started doing it whilst I was working with adults with learning disabilities. And so, because it was an evening course at that point. And so the app kind of went on that journey. And post qualifying, I didn't directly think I want to be a supervisor. But I found myself in, my placement was at the Charli Women's Centre, and I carried on to then coordinate the services and manage the services. And I found myself in a more of a supervisory role quite naturally. So people were coming to me because we had student placements. So I was then mentoring students and thought, you know, I'm actually kind of playing the role really of not playing the role, but being their supervisor to a certain degree. And as part of my postgraduate diploma, one of the modules was supervision. And so that kind of naturally qualified me to be a supervisor and kind of bolstered up what I was already essentially doing. So it was kind of a bit of natural progression. And then once I'd finished that, I took that into my own private practice and decided to then actually tell the world I was a supervisor, very tentatively, just in case. I was like, oh, I don't know. But yeah, so that was probably about 2011, 2012 when that happened.
When did that tentativeness stop then? When did you actually go, yeah, this is what I'm a supervisor?
I think probably a couple of years in. Yeah, I think I had about maybe, I started off maybe with one supervisee, and then I had, I think, a cohort of 3 trainees from UCLan, and that kind of, you know, I was used to doing placement reports and working with students on placement, so I guess that kind of almost like baptism of fire, kind of like, right, well, I've got 3 now, and I've got the other one still, so, and I've got my private clients. So before I knew it, I was like doing it, and I think, I had that moment of reflection in my own supervision where, I think it was my supervisor that said, you're doing it. You're doing it. And I was like, oh, I am, aren't I? Yeah. So, and I loved it. I personally really love it. It's a lovely added addition to client work. I personally like to do a few different things in instead of just one-to-one client work. It's lovely to do, you know, psychotherapy in a different way, really, and use those skills in different ways. Yeah. And that's me.
It's kind of an interesting journey. That kind of initial like wounded healer thing about having is common, I think, for a lot of trainees. But it feels like, from the way you describe it, it was almost as if you just kind of like got swooped along this river of stuff, and supervision got thrown in that, and before you knew it, you're a supervisor.
Absolutely.
And you're a little bit surprised by how's this happened.
Well, I think I was, because when I took over at the Women's Centre, because that was my placement as a student, and then funding was running out, and then I took over as the coordinator. It was just for 6 months I was meant to be coordinator until the funding stopped. So that was that. It wasn't an intentional, I'm now going to take this on. It was then I thought, well, I'll just take a punt at getting more funding, and I did. And I just did that year on year, and like almost 17 years later, I was still doing it, and the service grew, and I became the group supervisor, and a lot of it was just quite organic and not at all planned. But I think I'm a bit of a believer in the universe. I think it's gone the way it was intended to go. So I've kind of trusted in it. Trust in the process as much as you can.
And that's the thing, it feels like you kind of, like I say, you're swept along by that. But it felt right.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you for that, Emma.
You're
Interesting. Charli.
Hey. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit scared of the microphone. So I'm Charli. So I am a counsellor, I'm an EMDR practitioner and a clinical supervisor. Okay, so let me try and process what to kind of bring out first. Okay, so I first was actually interested in becoming a counsellor when I was about 9 years old, after I had a therapist at school. Basically, I had a few family deaths in a very short amount of time, so they put me forward for therapy. And I remember coming out of it at 9 going, that's what I want to do when I grow up. But then it was kind of shelved for a very long time, and I actually went into kind of special needs teaching. So I worked in schools for about 14 years, working with people with autism, ADHD, etc., and learning disabilities. And it wasn't until when I basically took over a thing called a nurture room. And it wasn't until then that it kind of creeped up again, kind of going, actually, I'd like to help more than what I'm doing. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm actually going to look at doing a counselling course to see if I like it. So whilst I was working, I went and did some introductory courses and then just fell in love. And then from there, I went on to do my levels. I did it through kind of a college rather than a university because I'd already had a previous business management degree. And so I went and did that, qualified. Then I kind of, at the end of that qualification, I decided, as you do, that I wanted to go down the counselling psychology route. So I actually came here to University of Lancashire.
Formerly known as UCLan.
Yep. It was UCLan when I was here.
Yes.
So I then did, I had to go back to do the psychology element of it. And whilst I was doing that, I was still on placement as well as a bit of private work as well. And during my still being at my placement, I did a bit of mentoring and loved it. And I suppose quite similar to yourself. And then that's when so during the third year of my undergrad on the psychology with counselling and psychotherapy, I thought, you know what, I'd like to do a level 6 qualification in that. So in my last year of here, I also was doing another level 6 course at the same time.
As you do, yeah.
And I was my EMDR training as well.
So, just remind, that's whilst I was teaching you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do things by halves.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. So I did my supervision training, which I again absolutely loved. My supervision training as well kind of worked a lot with kind of how to work creatively with supervision as well, which is really interesting. I love working that way.
Yeah.
And then I did a bit of teaching as well, a bit of lecturing, which also kind of added on to the supervisory work as well.
Yeah.
And then and currently I'm just on a doctorate to be a counselling psychologist.
Just on a doctorate, you know. So that is a lot.
Wow.
Sorry,
It is a lot. What, you apologise?
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and what I find interesting about that, there's that, like many people who move into therapy, that kind of like meandering journey, starting off doing one thing, moving around, and almost like the same thing of being drawn to it, but also within that though, that beginning point, age 9, knowing exactly what you want to do. I'm wondering if that kind of was always there in the background, that little kind of voice.
It was, and I think that's why I kind of looked again at doing the psychology side of it, because I remember even when I was like taking my GCSEs, I was really wanted to do like psychology, but where I was, they just didn't offer anything. So I think if the options were there, if it was more in the curriculum, I would have probably been here a lot sooner.
Yeah, you would have.
But it all happens for a reason, you know.
Okay, interesting. So two kind of similar but also different journeys there. Yeah, and but you're in the same place now. So, but I mean, we were talking about doctorates earlier on, weren't we? So you're kind of in the middle of kind of getting that done on top of everything else. Yeah. Okay. So busy.
Not busy enough to.
Not busy enough.
To come here.
Oh, right, well, that's true. Yeah, giving up your time for this nonsense. You're right. So right. So, well, thank you for that. We've got about 1 minute 40 left, right? Jack, I'm just wondering if you've got anything profound to say? Any thoughts, insights?
Oh, 1 minute 40. That's
and just hearing those journeys and like in comparison to your journey and maybe what you thought a supervisor's journey might have been. I don't know, just anything.
Does it have to be 1 minute 40? So
doesn't have to be.
Can we have a bit of?
We've got leeway.
Yeah. Because I wondered what Jack was thinking as well. Like as supervisors, we're talking, and so advanced in your careers. And Jack really at the very start of your counselling career, and obviously a significant gap there. But I wonder how that was for you listening to these guys.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think during it, I was also bracketing the fact that I think Nigel would be a good Joker to your Batman, to be honest. But yeah, it was interesting, the stories. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that resonate with my own thing there. And yeah, in terms of supervision, I was looking at it, but I'm also interested just to hear more, I guess, through what we're doing. So, yeah, seeing where that goes, I guess.
And there will be opportunity for Jack to expand in part 2 as well. But I'm aware that because you're going, you're probably interested to kind of get some insight from him.
Yeah, you have to watch.
You're going to have to watch. You're going to have to Visten, aren't you? You're going to have to Visten. So, okay, well, thank you, everyone. We kind of like have come to the end of the first episode, or episode 3, part 1. So I don't know how we're going to end this. Do we want blues guitar, trumpet, or whatever? I don't really know. We all put a visor on, or we just say, right, that's it.
I think I want a visor, really.
You want to wear a visor?
I want to wear a visor.
There you go. Does anyone else want to wear a visor? No,
okay,
you don't want to.
I'll have a visor.
Oh, there you go.
It's good.
Not a red one,
This is gonna
actually.
have the YouTube thumbnail. This one.
Exactly.
Yeah, can I go?
Oh, we've all
All
got
right.
more.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, all right,
I'm gonna go with
You go with pink.
I'm gonna go pink, right? I'm
can't
gonna mess up my Hollywood hairstyle, and I will play out back once again with the just the homage to the people that can't be with us today.
Yeah, yeah.